The most powerful force you can wield isn't strength or intellect, it's the deliberate confusion of others. To hold true control, you must mask your ultimate aim. When people can't decipher your purpose, they can't construct a defense. Guide them down false trails, wrap them in layers of uncertainty, and by the time they glimpse your real goal, it will be far too late to respond. If in the midst of any strategic maneuver they sense even a flicker of your true intention, everything is lost. Never grant them the clarity to see your target. Misdirect their focus by laying convincing false paths. Use deliberate earnestness, send mixed messages, and establish convincing decoys. When reality and illusion blur, people cannot locate your actual objective. The error. The nobleman's costly blunder. In 17th century France, for many weeks, the celebrated courtesan Ninon de l'Enclos listened as the young Marquis de Sphine lamented his failed attempts to win a particular countess. At 62, Ninon possessed vast wisdom in the arts of love and attraction. The 22-year-old Marquise, while charming, was profoundly unskilled in these delicate matters. Initially entertained by his fumbling, Ninon's patience eventually wore thin. Disliking incompetence in any field, especially this one, she chose to instruct him. First, she framed romance as a form of strategic conflict, with the desired countess as a citadel needing a careful, phased siege. Each step required precision. She told him to start over. He must approach the countess with casual detachment. In their next private meeting, he should speak as a confidant, not a suitor, throwing her off the scent. She would no longer assume his interest, perhaps wondering if he only sought friendship. Ninon planned multiple steps ahead. Once the countess felt this initial doubt, the next phase was to induce envy. At Paris's next grand ball, the Marquis was to arrive with a lovely companion who had equally striking friends. Wherever the Countess saw him afterward, he'd be surrounded by the city's most admired women. This would not only stir jealousy, but prove his appeal to others, a vital component Ninon stressed. When a woman grows interested, she seeks proof that other women also find him desirable. This amplifies his worth and makes winning him more rewarding. With the Countess both intrigued and envious, the time would come for deeper mystification. Following Ninon's plan, he would skip events she expected him at, then appear suddenly in circles she frequented, but he usually avoided. This calculated unpredictability would push her into pleasurable confusion, a necessary state for surrender. These maneuvers spanned weeks. Through her network, Ninon tracked the progress. She learned the Countess laughed more freely at his jokes, listened more closely to his words, and asked others about him. At gatherings, the Countess watched him from afar. Ninon felt sure the young woman was being drawn in. The citadel would likely capitulate in weeks or months with careful management. But several days later, the Marquise visited the Countess alone. Ignoring all guidance, he took her hands and professed his love. The woman seemed bewildered, then cool, then politely distant. She excused herself. That evening she avoided him. Later, she was not at home to his calls. When she finally received him again, the air was thick with discomfort. The spell was broken. Analysis. The strength of implication. Ninon de l'Enclos viewed love as a high art. Her lovers included legendary writers, philosophers, and statesmen. Seduction was a game of skill. As she aged, great families sent their sons to learn from her. Ninon knew that while men and women differ, in seduction they share this. Deep down, they often sense the game but yield willingly, because being led is enjoyable. The pleasure is in relinquishing control, being guided into the unknown. But successful guidance hinges entirely on suggestion. Never declare your aim with words. Instead, misdirect. For someone to surrender to your guidance, they must first experience the right kind of disorientation. Scramble the signals, show interest in a decoy, then hint at interest in your true target, feign aloofness, keep varying the approach. This pattern doesn't just confuse, it excites. The target must feel lost before they can be led. See it from the Countess's view. After his maneuvers, she sensed a game, but it delighted her. Not knowing his destination made it compelling. Each move built anticipation. She may have even enjoyed her envy and confusion, for intense feeling beats secure boredom. Perhaps he had hidden motives. Most do, but she was willing to see it unfold. Had the waiting continued, his final intent might have mattered less. But the moment he said love, everything changed. It stopped being an artful game with strategic moves and became a clumsy outburst of feeling. His intention was now visible. He was seducing her. This recast all prior actions. What seemed charming now seemed manipulative. She felt tricked. A door sealed shut forever. Observation: Bismarck's strategic misdirection. In 1850, Otto von Bismarck, then a deputy in the Prussian parliament, faced a career crossroads. The great issue was unifying Germany's fractured states, with war against Austria a real possibility. Austria, the powerful southern neighbor, wanted to keep Germany weak and divided. Prince William, the heir, favored war in Parliament, was ready to back military action. Only the king and his ministers opposed it, preferring to placate Austria. Throughout his life, Bismarck had championed Prussian power. He dreamed of a unified Germany and a war to humble Austria. He was a former soldier who saw glory in battle, the man who would later say, "The great questions of the day are decided by blood and iron." Yet as war fever peaked, Bismarck stood and gave a speech that stunned the chamber. He declared that a statesman is cursed if he starts a war without a reason that remains valid after the last shot. He asked if they would have the courage to face the peasant whose farm was ash, the crippled soldier, the grieving father. He not only called this potential war madness, but shockingly praised Austria and defended its actions. This contradicted everything he had ever stood for. The effect was immediate. Bismarck was against war. Fellow deputies were confounded, some changing their votes. The king and ministers prevailed, and war was averted. Weeks later, the grateful king made Bismarck a cabinet minister for his peace advocacy. Years later, Bismarck became premier. From that position, he eventually led his peace-loving king and nation into war against Austria, crushed the empire, and built a German state with Prussia at its head. Analysis: calculated diversion. In that 1850 speech, Bismarck made several calculations. First, he saw that Prussia's military was unprepared. Austria might win, with dire consequences. Second, if war was lost and he had supported it, his career would be doomed. The king wanted peace. Bismarck wanted power. The solution was to mislead everyone by championing a cause he scorned, saying things he'd mock if spoken by another. An entire nation was fooled. Because of his speech, the king appointed him minister, a post from which he rose to control the state, gained the power to rebuild the army, and achieved his original goals, humbling Austria and unifying Germany. Bismarck was a master strategist and deceiver. No one suspected his real aim. Had he revealed it, arguing for a delayed fight, he would have lost, as most Prussians wanted immediate war and thought their army superior. Had he openly sought the king's favor, he'd have failed. The king would have distrusted his ambition. Through total insincerity and false signals, he hid his purpose and achieved everything. This is the power of concealed intention. Core principle: the craft of concealment. Most people are transparent. They express emotions freely, voice every opinion, constantly reveal plans. This happens for reasons. First, it feels natural and easy. Restraining speech requires effort. Second, many believe honesty and openness win affection and show good character, a profound mistake. Honesty can be a blunt tool that wounds more than a sharp cut. Your frankness likely gives offense. Tailoring words to what others wish to hear is wiser. More critically, utter transparency makes you predictable and familiar, making respect or fear impossible to inspire. Power seldom comes to those who cannot stir these feelings. If you want power, abandon naked honesty and train to hide your aims. Mastering this art gives permanent advantage. A simple truth about human nature underpins it. Our first instinct is to trust appearances. We cannot constantly doubt reality. Imagining hidden agendas behind every face is exhausting. This makes hiding intentions fairly straightforward. Simply hold up a decoy, an apparent goal, and people will accept the surface as reality. Once focused on the false trail, they'll miss your true activity. In attraction, establish conflicting signals, desire and indifference, to not only hide your path, but intensify the other's wish to possess you. A potent red herring is to seem to support ideas opposite to your real beliefs, as Bismarck did. Most will think you've genuinely changed, as lightly shifting core views seems unusual. The same applies to any decoy object. Seem to want what you don't, and rivals will miscalculate while chasing phantoms. In the 1711 War of the Spanish Succession, the Duke of Marlborough wanted a key French fort destroyed, but destroying it would reveal his plan to use the road it guarded. So he captured and garrisoned it, making it appear he valued the fort for himself. The French attacked, retook it, and, believing it must be vital, destroyed it themselves. With the fort gone and the road open, Marlborough marched into France. Apply this: hide aims not through silence, which breeds suspicion, but by talking constantly of your desires, just not your real ones. You gain three things. You seem friendly and trustworthy. You conceal true goals. You send rivals on fruitless chases. Another powerful tool is false sincerity. People often mistake sincerity for honesty. Remember, they trust appearances. Since they value integrity, they rarely doubt a convincing performance. Seeming to believe your own words gives them immense weight. This is how Iago destroyed Othello, with such emotional depth and apparent earnestness about Desdemona's faithlessness. How could Othello doubt him? This is also how the master con man Yellow Kid Weil swindled Marx, seeming to profoundly believe in whatever scheme he sold made its truth hard to question. Of course, avoid excess. Sincerity is tricky. Too much passion raises alarms. Stay measured and credible, or your act becomes obvious. To use false sincerity to hide intentions, publicly praise honesty as a vital social virtue. Cement this by occasionally sharing seemingly heartfelt thoughts, but only trivial or irrelevant ones. Napoleon's minister Talleyrand excelled at taking people into his confidence by revealing apparent secrets. These decoy confessions would lure out genuine secrets from others. Remember, master deceivers do everything to mask their cunning. They build a reputation for integrity while practicing deception. The ultimate smokescreen hiding their nature. Those honest in small things can deceive boldly in large ones without suspicion. Build a reputation for light, and you can operate in shadow. Deception is always the superior strategy, but the best deceptions use smokescreens to divert attention from the real purpose. A bland exterior, like an unreadable face, often gives perfect cover, hiding intent behind comfortable familiarity. If you lead a target down a familiar road, they won't notice when you guide them into a trap. Observation I: the con artist's masterstroke. In 1910, Chicago businessman Sam Giesel, semi-retired after selling his warehouse business, missed the thrill of deals. A young man named Joseph Weil visited, interested in an apartment. Giesel stated the price, $8,000 with $2,000 down. Weil asked for time, but returned offering full cash payment if Giesel could wait a few days. Giesel, still shrewd, wondered how Weil would get such a sum so fast. Weil seemed evasive, but Giesel pressed. After promises of discretion, Weil told a tale his uncle was secretary to millionaires who'd bought a Michigan hunting lodge years ago cheaply. Not using it, they decided to sell, telling the uncle to get whatever he could. The uncle, bearing a long grudge, saw his chance. He would sell it to a setup man for $35,000. The financiers wouldn't question the low price. The setup man would then resell it at its true $155,000 value. Uncle, Weil, and the third man would split the profit. All legal and just revenge for the uncle. Giesel had heard enough. He wanted to be the buyer. Weil resisted, but Giesel insisted. The profit and adventure excited him. Weil said Giesel would need $35,000 cash. Giesel said he could get it. Weil relented, setting a meeting in Galesburg, Illinois. On the train, Giesel met the impressive uncle. Weil also brought a companion, George Gross, a flabby man. Weil said he was a boxing trainer and Gross his promising fighter brought to maintain training. For a promising fighter, Gross looked unimpressive, gray-haired with a paunch, but Giesel's deal-focused excitement stopped him from scrutinizing. In Galesburg, Weil and the uncle left to fetch the financiers. Giesel waited in a hotel room with Gross, who changed into trunks and began shadowboxing. Giesel, distracted, ignored how winded the man became, though his style looked authentic. An hour later, Weil and the uncle returned with the financiers, an intimidating group in fine suits. The lodge sale went smoothly. Giesel had wired the money. With business done, the financiers relaxed, name-dropping J.P. Morgan as if friends. Then one noticed Gross. Weil explained. The financier said his group had a boxer too. Weil laughed, claiming his man could beat theirs. Banter turned to argument, then a wager. The financiers agreed, leaving to prepare their fighter for a match the next day. Once alone, the uncle yelled at Weil in front of Giesel they had no betting funds. When the financiers found out, he'd be fired. Weil apologized but suggested a fix. He knew the other boxer and could bribe him to take a dive. But they needed money. Giesel, unwilling to let ill will spoil his lodge deal, offered his $35,000 as stake. Even if he lost it, he could wire for more and still profit from the lodge resale. Uncle and nephew were grateful. With their $15,000 and Giesel's $35,000, they had enough. That evening, Giesel watched both boxers rehearse the fixed outcome. His mind swam with profit from both the fight and the sale. The match happened the next day in a gym. Weil held the cash in a locked box. All went as rehearsed. The financiers looked glum. Giesel saw easy money. Then, suddenly, the financier's fighter landed a wild punch. Gross fell. Blood sprayed from his mouth. He coughed, then lay still. A financier, a former doctor, checked his pulse. Dead. The millionaires panicked. Everyone had to flee before police arrived. All could be charged. Terrified, Giesel ran for Chicago, leaving his $35,000. It seemed a small price to avoid jail. He never wanted to see Weil again. After Giesel fled, Gross got up. The blood was from a chicken blood ball in his cheek. The whole scheme was orchestrated by Weil, the Yellow Kid, one of history's great con men. Weil split the $35,000 with his crew. Analysis: the ultimate distraction. The Yellow Kid had marked Giesel long before. He knew the boxing scam would separate Giesel from his money quickly, but starting with the fight would fail. He needed to hide his intent and redirect focus, create a smokescreen, the lodge sale. On the train and in the hotel, Gisel's mind was consumed by the deal, the profit, mingling with wealthy men. He failed to see Gross's poor condition. This is the power of a good smokescreen. Engrossed in business, Gisel's attention only shifted to the boxing match when it was too late to see its flaws. The outcome depended on bribery, not skill. And Gisel was so distracted by the illusion of death, he forgot his money. Learn from this. The familiar, boring front is the perfect cover. Approach with ordinary concepts, business deals, financial intrigue. The target's mind is occupied, suspicion disarmed. That's when you guide them onto the second path, the slippery slope into your trap. Observation 2. The emperor's calculated humility. In the mid-1920s, Ethiopia's warlords realized a young nobleman, Haile Selassie, was outmaneuvering them, nearing a position to claim leadership. Most couldn't grasp how this quiet man gained such control. Yet by 1927, Selassie could summon warlords to the capital to swear loyalty. Some hurried, some hesitated, but only Djazmak Balcha of Sidamo dared outright defiance. A blustering warrior, Balcha saw the new leader as weak. He finally obeyed the summons, but on his terms, he arrived with 10,000 soldiers camped 3 miles from the capital. A show of force. Selassie would have to come to him. Selassie sent invitations to a banquet in Balcha's honor. But Balcha knew history. Banquets were often traps. To show he knew, he agreed, but only with his 500 best-armed men. To his surprise, Selassie politely welcomed the warriors. En route, Balcha warned his men not to drink and stay alert. At the palace, Selassie was utterly charming. He deferred to Balcha, treated him as if desperately needing his support. Balcha resisted, warning that if he didn't return by nightfall, his army would attack the city. Selassie acted wounded by the distrust. During the meal, when traditional songs for leaders began, Selassie allowed only songs praising Balcha. To Balcha, Selassie seemed intimidated. He felt he would dictate terms. The afternoon ended with Balcha and his men marching back to camp amid cheers. Looking back, Balcha planned how his army would soon march through the city in triumph, with Selassie in prison or worse. Approaching his camp, he saw disaster. Where tents had been, only smoke from doused fires remained. What sorcery was this? A witness explained, during the banquet, an army led by Selassie's ally had approached Balcha's camp by a hidden route. They didn't attack. Instead, armed with baskets of gold, they bought every weapon from Balcha's leaderless army. Those who refused were intimidated. In hours, the force was disarmed and scattered. Balcha, seeing his peril, tried to march south to regroup, but Selassie's army blocked him. The other route was to attack the capital, but Selassie had defenses ready. Like a chess master, he had anticipated every move. Checkmate. For the first time, Balcha surrendered. To atone for pride, he entered a monastery. Analysis. The gentle tactician. Throughout his long reign, no one fully understood Selassie. Ethiopians liked fierce leaders, yet Selassie, projecting gentleness, lasted the longest. He never showed anger, luring victims with charm and deference before striking. With Balcha, he used the man's wariness. His suspicion the banquet was a trap, which it was, just not the kind he expected. Selassie's methods to soothe Balcha's fears, allowing the guards, giving him top praise, making him feel in control, created a massive smokescreen hiding the real activity 3 miles away. Remember, the paranoid are often easiest to fool. Secure their trust in one area, and you create a blind spot elsewhere, letting you strike a devastating blow. Helpful gestures, seemingly honest actions, or displays of deference, these are perfect diversions. Properly set, a smokescreen is a formidable weapon. It let the gentle Selassie destroy his enemy without firing a shot. Keys to power: the unremarkable face. If you think deceivers are flamboyant tellers of tall tales, you are deeply mistaken. Master deceivers use dull, unnoticeable fronts. They know extravagant words draw suspicion. Instead, they envelop targets in familiarity and harmlessness. In the Yellow Kid's Con, the familiar was business. In Ethiopia, it was Selassie's misleading respect, just what a weaker lord would show. Once you've lulled their attention with the familiar, they won't see the deception behind them. This stems from a simple truth: people can focus on one thing at a time. They struggle to imagine the bland person they're dealing with is orchestrating something else entirely. The grayer your smokescreen, the better it hides intent. In decoy strategies from part 1, you actively distract. With smokescreens, you hypnotize, drawing victims into your web. Because it's hypnotic, it's often the best method. The simplest smokescreen is a facial expression. Behind a blank, unreadable exterior, any strategy can hide unseen. History's most powerful men perfected this. Franklin Roosevelt's face was famously inscrutable. Baron James Rothschild hid his thoughts behind bland smiles. Stendhal wrote of Talleyrand, "Never was a face less of a barometer." Henry Kissinger would bore opponents with monotone and detail. As their attention waned, he'd present bold terms, catching them unprepared. A poker manual says, "The good player practices bland behavior that minimizes readable patterns, frustrates opponents, and permits greater concentration." As an adaptable concept, smokescreens work on many levels, all exploiting distraction. One effective screen is the noble gesture. People want to believe noble gestures are real. It feels good. They rarely see how deceptive they can be. When art dealer Joseph Duveen faced clients with no wall space and rising inheritance taxes, he helped found Washington's National Gallery by getting Andrew Mellon to donate his collection. The gallery was Duveen's perfect front. Through this one gesture, clients avoided taxes, cleared walls for new buys, reduced market supply, keeping prices high, and appeared as public benefactors. Another effective screen is establishing patterns, a series of actions that seduce victims into expecting continuity. Patterns exploit our psychology of anticipation. In 1878, robber Baron J. Gould created a company threatening Western Union's telegraph monopoly. Western Union bought it to remove competition. Months later, Gould started a second rival company. The same thing, they bought him out. When he started a third, they expected another buyout. Instead, he launched a brutal takeover and gained control of Western Union. He'd set a pattern tricking them into thinking his goal was lucrative buyouts. Once paid, they relaxed, missing his true grander aim. Patterns are powerful because they make others expect the opposite of your real intent. Another psychological weakness for smokescreens is mistaking appearance for group belonging, assuming if someone seems like one of us, they are. This makes seamless blending hugely effective. The technique? Blend with those around you. The better you blend, the less suspicion you attract. During the Cold War, British civil servants spied for the Soviets for years undetected because they seemed like decent chaps from the right schools, fitting the old boy network perfectly. Blending is the perfect espionage smokescreen. Execute it well, and you conceal intent perfectly. Remember, patience and humility are needed to dull your colors to wear the unremarkable mask. Don't despair wearing it. Your unreadability often draws people in and creates an aura of power. The image: the wolf in sheep's skin. A sheep never attacks. A sheep never deceives. A sheep is docile and unintelligent. Wearing its fleece, the wolf walks straight into the flock. Ninon de Lenclos once wrote, "Have you ever known a skilled general who intends to surprise a fortress by announcing his plan? Hide your purpose and your progress. Do not reveal your design until it can no longer be opposed, until the battle is over. Secure victory before declaring war. In the end, imitate those commanders whose aims are unknown except by the scarred land they leave behind." Reversal. When deception becomes expected. No smokescreen, red herring, or false sincerity will hide your intent if you're known as a deceiver. As you succeed with age, hiding cunning grows harder. When all see your methods, continued naivete looks like hypocrisy, limiting your moves. In such cases, acknowledging reality is better. Appear as an honest rogue or a repentant one. You'll gain admiration for frankness and, remarkably, still practice stratagems. As P.T. Barnum, master of humbug, aged, he embraced his deceiver reputation. Once staging a fake buffalo hunt, its obvious falseness amused crowds. They knew Barnum dealt in tricks. It was his secret, and they loved him for it. He learned not to hide devices, even writing a tell-all. As Kierkegaard noted, the public wants to be deceived. Finally, while bland exteriors are usually wiser, sometimes colorful, showy gestures are the right diversion. Europe's great mountebanks used humor and spectacle to fool audiences. Dazzled by the show, the public missed the real intent. Star charlatans arrived with black carriages, clowns, and tightrope walkers to draw crowds to their elixir stalls. The entertainment was the smokescreen, the business was selling potions. Clearly, spectacle hides intent well, but not forever. The public tires and sees the trick. Charlatans had to move town to town before word spread. Powerful people with bland faces, Talleyrand's, Rothschilds, Selassies, could deceive in the same place for a lifetime. Their act never wears out, rarely raises suspicion. So use colorful smokescreens sparingly, only when the moment demands. And if you found value in these lessons on the power of hidden strategies, show your support. Give this video a like and make sure to follow Winds of Thought for more deep explorations into human nature and power. Your engagement helps this channel grow. What's one situation where masking your true intent could be a strategic advantage? Let's discuss in the comments below.